In October 1347, 12 Genoese galleys drifted into the port of Messina, Sicily. When the harbor master boarded them, he found the ships populated by dead and dying crews. The surviving sailors exhibited bizarre physical anomalies. Dark, oozing swellings had erupted across their bodies, leaking blood and pus through their clothing. Europe in the mid-14th century sat behind vast oceans and heavy stone fortresses. Yet an unseen threat bypassed every physical defense the continent possessed in a matter of months. The invader was Yersinia pestis, a blind, highly efficient biological engine. By exploiting the very trade routes and ships humans built to connect their cities, this pathogen initiated a total collapse of the existing social order. The origin point lies in the Central Asian steppes. Localized climate change forced regional rodent populations to migrate out of their natural habitats and toward populated areas. These rodents carried the oriental rat flea. Inside the flea's midgut, the Yersinia pestis bacterium replicates until it forms a dense biofilm, completely blocking the insect's digestive tract. Starving and unable to swallow, the flea bites frantically. With every attempt to feed, it regurgitates infected blood directly into the host. Fleas and their rodent hosts hitched rides in grain sacks and textiles. They moved out of the steppes along the interconnected silk network, passing from host to host through a series of trade caravans. By 1346, the infection reached the Crimean Peninsula. The Golden Horde was laying siege to the Genoese port of Caffa, but a massive plague outbreak decimated the Mongol encampment. Before abandoning the siege, the Mongol forces weaponized their dead. They loaded the infected corpses of their own soldiers into trebuchets, launching them over the fortress walls to seed the infection within the city. Genoese merchants fled the diseased port by sea. As their galleys sailed toward the Mediterranean, they transformed a localized tactical strike into an unstoppable intercontinental pandemic. The pathogen utilized 3 distinct clinical routes. Bubonic plague infiltrated the lymphatic system, causing necrotic swelling of the lymph nodes in the groin, neck, and armpits. The second manifestation was pneumonic plague. Once the bacteria reached the lungs, it transmitted via airborne droplets, allowing the disease to spread through the winter without flea vectors. A third form, septicemic plague, inoculated the bloodstream directly. This version caused rapid blood infection and tissue necrosis, with a near 100% fatality rate. Europe possessed no scientific framework to understand contagion. Standard medicine relied on galenic humorism, focusing on the balance of bodily fluids rather than physical germs. In October 1348, the Paris medical faculty delivered their official diagnosis. They blamed the disease on a 1345 planetary alignment in Aquarius, which they believed had corrupted the air into a deadly miasma. Blind to the physical realities of the bacteria, authorities implemented treatments that focused on corrupted air, which inadvertently accelerated the death toll in crowded cities. By 1353, the forensic trail reveals up to 200 million dead. Half of Europe's population had perished, leaving massive tracts of agricultural land unharvested. The pre-plague economic baseline was serfdom. In this system, landowning lords held absolute legal power over an overabundance of peasant laborers who were tied to the soil. This population pyramid illustrates the immediate structural shock. The pandemic hollowed out the vast base of rural laborers. This created a massive labor vacuum. With labor supply dropping, inherited lands meant nothing without hands to plow them. The loss of life destroyed the rigid social hierarchy of the Middle Ages. The scarcity of people stripped the lords of the leverage they had held for centuries. Surviving peasants quickly realized their value. Many began illegally migrating to neighboring manors to bargain for better terms, effectively ending the period they were tied to a single landlord. Economic data shows a drastic surge. Driven by the labor shortage, wages for rural workers spiked by 200%. Peasant families leveraged this to demand cash payments. Consequently, working-class mobility rose, while manorial revenue contracted. Elite legislative attempts to cap wages, like the 1349 Statute of Laborers, failed against the macroeconomic force of supply and demand. The law simply could not override the physical scarcity of workers. The microscopic pathogen that nearly wiped out humanity became the catalyst that dismantled feudalism, laying the foundation for the modern wage-based economic order.